Hey, man, at least Jeff came back.
Shout out to Jeffrey Miller. Hey, welcome back to If This Doesn't Work, also known as Jeffrey's Corner. This is Jeffrey Miller's podcast. Shout out to you, Jeffrey, and your 12 comments a week. You're the only one who comments, so those 12 mean a lot to us. Genuinely appreciate you. We'll have you on one day. We got to have you on. You got a webcam, bud? What's going on with you, Jeffrey Miller?
He's got 218 subscribers, man.
Damn. All right, so first of all, tell all your 218 to subscribe. Let's
go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
And also, my friends who text me after every episode and don't comment, please just comment it. It's like they're funny comments too. They're like funny,
right?
And a lot of times they're pointed at making fun of me, and I'm like, please,
right,
offer this to the world.
All of this should be said here.
Offer this to the world.
I have all the same texts.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
I get it.
I say it in my head. I don't even want to like be rude about it anymore. But just why don't you just comment it? Just comment it for me. Please?
Please.
He's like,
please.
Anyway.
Yeah, well, what's been going on with you, dude?
Nothing. It's me again. Short notice. We got some shit going on this weekend. And
oh, the Super Bowl. You watched Super Bowl.
We watched the Super Bowl, dude. So it was stupid. It sucked. It was like one of the worst Super Bowls of all time.
I disagree.
Well, like, from the game standpoint.
Yeah, but because of the narrative, it was just nice to see the Chiefs get fucking, you know what I mean? Like, it was nice to see, you know what was interesting? Not a big football guy, guilty, okay? Kind of gay. But I've seen enough, right? And Mahomes looks scared. You know? Like, it looked like they got in his head quick, man. It looks like because some of them, the pressure was unreal with no blitzes.
I think it was.
I'm repeating things I've heard on X. But
hey, that's all ideas are these
days. Yeah. But yeah, he looked shook, bro. The Eagles had to have been so happy.
The thing to me is, like, the Eagles have a better team. Like, if you just look at the talent outside of Mahomes and, like, one of their rushers.
Kelce.
Like, he's at past his prime, as you saw. I don't think he had any catches in the first half.
In that game, he was not great, but I'm just saying, he's still a great player.
Yeah, and he's one of the best of all time. But
white boy.
He's out of his prime.
Representing for the whites.
And a lot of dudes on Philly are just in their prime. And
Saquon didn't have that good of a game. I figured.
He didn't. They did a good job of, like,
they shut him down.
Yeah.
But that's all. They maybe focused too much on shutting Saquon down and forgot there was other people.
The issue was you have other shit to do. Like, we're going against Mahomes, and that's a fact. But, like, he had a bunch of aging, not great people. Like, DeAndre Hopkins, one of his receivers, was one of the best of his career. He's at the fucking. He's a retire age.
I remember that name.
He's at the point where he's just trying to get on a team to get a ring now, which is a whole other conversation that should be had, because it's like, these are top competitors. And, like, do you really want to have, like, a ring that's based on the fact that, you had to join the perfect situation? You just had to jump on Mahomes'.
That's just that's just something that's going to happen. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
But what got more talk about than the Super Bowl itself was the halftime show.
It did.
Which was so fun for me.
I mean, it was a lot of whites complaining. And to be fair, like, as a I don't fuck with rap anymore these days. Like, it all sounds the same to me. It's very tough to do a lyrical, any kind of musician or anything in that realm and be able to
Let me say this too.
Let me
say this too.
Could you hear a lot of the I could hear a lot of words.
It's tough. I mean,
but I don't know the songs.
Right. It's not they're not some of they're rap. That's hip hop. It's not like melodic. You know, some of it when SZA came out and all that. But yeah, before, I agree. He's just rapping, and it's like when you said it's a bunch of whites complaining. To be fair, every year. Right?
Yeah.
Like some people, no matter, like, they wait for the Super Bowl halftime show to just complain. You know? It's every single year, if you could check, you know, if you could, like, go through their time hop or something. It's like it's interesting that, like, I don't know, people also have a hard time differentiating between what they like and what's a good show, right? They're like, well, I don't like that. It's a terrible show, you know? And it's like, well, that's not the same thing. It could be both, you know, but it's not necessarily the same. I think that it was a little bit of a miss. I do.
Interesting.
I think for the culture, it was great. Especially the dudes with the goals under the streetlight. Like, you know what I'm talking about? They had the dudes with the gold mouths.
Vaguely. Was that toward the end? Or
yeah, it was some in like the middle.
Lost me
Samuel
toward the
L.
middle
Jackson
end.
said something. He dressed up as Uncle Sam, but he said something, and he was like, "Oh, you brought your homies with you," and they were all just had bright gold grills in. They were like vibing. It was like, to me, that was cool for hip hop culture, but at the same time, yeah, it didn't have a giant Super Bowl feel to it, you know? It was like, Kendrick's a great artist. I think it was a great performance. The synchronicities, the dancing, all that shit was good. But I don't think, I liked it as a show. I don't love it as the halftime show.
I kind of agree with that. Like, I liked a lot about it, and like, there was, at the end, it does feel like it was a miss, like you said. Like, I love Samuel L. Jackson, like, sort of being this sort of, like, in between.
Cheeky.
Yeah, and, like, obviously this was some kind of, like, political thing. I don't know exactly what, the point was or whatever, but, like, I don't know. It clearly had some kind of...
I'm pretty sure the point is Drake's a pedophile.
I'm sure there was, like, multiple...
I'm pretty sure the entire point of having the Super Bowl was to tell the world that Drake's a pedophile.
The entire idea of this, like, Super Bowl was just, like, this is what was happening this year. The most, like... Which is fine,
bro. I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
A Disney star,
I can't believe it.
And like, I don't know who Kendrick really is.
To call Drake a Disney star is very reductive.
But it is. Where he started. It's
his origin, yes.
Started from the bottom.
Yeah,
Get the fuck out of here, dog.
Yeah,
you started from at least the high middle.
Whole different argument, but yeah, I agree with that stuff. It is crazy, especially because it's like they kept teasing it. Remember? He like started to play it, and then he'd be like, "No, wait."
Right,
so it was like he made a meal out of it. It wasn't
the little A.
The minor A, A minor. A minor on the chain.
He really held out the minor part again, which I is that how long it's held in the actual song? Oh,
yes.
Okay.
That's what's funny in the song. He A minor.
Dude, 229 million views on YouTube, that video, and I've listened to it that was probably the first time that still haven't heard all the way through. I'm sure he didn't play the whole thing.
Yeah, but it has to feel, no matter how big you are, when the entire internet is damn near conspiring against you, and then it's like, the part of the song that the whole stadium knows is you're the pedophile part.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's not even like, I don't know. I do feel like it's petty. Like, obviously, like it's beyond, like it's the big song, but that part, I don't know, man. It's just like, is he a pedophile? Do we have proof of this? Because if not,
proof. We just have a lot of like really questionable things.
Right.
But like, it's, I don't know. We had more questionable shit about Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
But to be fair, like, Thriller's way better than anything.
Well, Drake's living in it, dude. He walks out on stage now with a hoodie that has bullet holes in it that has, like, smoke coming out of him.
Oh, that's a lot. I hear that he is over in Australia, which is about the farthest I think you could be from New Orleans.
He looked on the globe and said he picked wherever the opposite side was.
Which, like, it doesn't matter. Like, his phone's blowing
Internet's
out.
ubiquitous, but it is nice to have money to go.
Right,
I'm gonna be so.
I don't know if he's vacationing or like performing out there. I think but either way,
it's all the
like,
same.
Just
at this
to happen
point.
to be like on the opposite side of the world, like weird.
And it just sucks because it's like, anyone who sees Drake, even today, is thinking about that. You know what I mean? Like, they want to ask him about it. They want to be like, hey, are you okay? You know what I mean? And that's got to get old, too. Even just, like, once he's past it, and you see someone who's like, hey, man, I'm sorry, rough break. And you're just like, God damn it, dude. I'm the biggest touring artist in the fucking world.
What else? So, another part I did like was at the very end of the performance. I don't know this song. Apparently, it's a newer song of his, the Turn Off the TV thing. And he just, like, repeated it a couple times. And I don't know, like... I liked it because it felt like something the NFL would have were like probably throwing a fit like in the back of their heads because it's just like that's the last thing we want.
Well, he's not. No one did it.
No shit.
It's
but
not
still,
like he's commanding people to do it.
That's how like the people in like power are, dude. They don't even want to
and people are dumb enough to like do it. You know, like
I'm sure someone might have. Like,
he did switch it to turn his TV off, like to talk about Drake, turn his TV off, turn his TV off, and then it actually he did this like wink, and then I'll show you afterwards, but in the crowd, in the background, they had lit up "Game Over," the words.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was like a lot of like hidden little things.
It had the PlayStation buttons, the shapes, I didn't know, like, they didn't like make an obvious nod to PlayStation, but
no,
like,
but
now
they
that
said
you
something
say
about
game
playing
over,
the game. Yeah, they said something about playing the game and like, yeah, and then he brought out Serena Williams as Drake's ex.
I didn't know that she was his ex.
Yeah,
like that kind of like churns, like, so like if you're a pedophile, you're not getting with Serena Williams.
I disagree.
I just
you're
don't
not
think,
only a pedophile,
and I only say that because like,
right?
she looks.
Hold on. Now I'm curious about that.
Sure.
Are pedophiles only attracted to children, or like attracted to children as well?
Oh, it's a good point.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, there's different reasons to do the thing, right? Sometimes like you're either perpetuating a thing that happened to you, or you're fucking, I don't know, you're a predator. You're just,
Yeah, well, it would be both. It would be both. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, some people are just trying to fucking...
I don't think it makes him not a pedophile to be with Serena Williams. That's like someone, like, you know how people are like, I can't be racist, I have black friends? You could be married to someone black and be racist. You can be black and be racist.
For sure.
So that's the thing about, like, oh, you might not be a pedophile because Serena Williams definitely looks like a child.
She just looks
She barely looks like a woman.
Grown, yeah,
she barely...
You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Like, I don't know. It's like the opposite of, like...
She's definitely a grown woman.
So it's like...
Yeah.
And honestly, to me, a little mannish, a little bit.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
yeah,
so
yeah. I mean, well,
like,
she's super athletic, super strong.
I'm like, yeah, I don't know. To me, that like gives him a tiny bit of credit the other way. But like,
no,
there's
it's
a
not
lot
like
of...
he's only fucking children.
I know, dude. I know, but like, I don't know. I kind of am like, can you really have multiple fucking specialties? Not specialties.
Yeah, it's like you could be into blondes and brunettes. You know,
I mean,
adults and children.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Maybe we'll have to get a pedophile on and ask him some questions.
Yeah, that would go over great.
Get him masked or something, you know?
Well, I don't know how we haven't gotten Biederman and fucking Jefferson on here to just like talk their views about the firmament and all that shit. But that's a different thing.
Yeah, the firmament. So when I asked you if you knew who Bryce Mitchell was, he's a UFC fighter who is, I guess, pretty good. The fact that I even know his name, right? But he fell down the Hitler wasn't a bad guy rabbit hole.
Okay.
You know about that rabbit hole?
I'm not sure I do.
I mean, it's just like, so it's the one Kanye's on. You know, Kanye's on some big Hitler shit where he's like, Jesus loved everyone, so I love Hitler. You know, but you just can't say I love Hitler. So Kanye is almost intelligently poking at things that like are edgelordish, you know, but you just can't say the stuff he's saying. It's like he's obviously a fucking lunatic, but. And a genius, but Bryce Mitchell is this little white guy from fucking some trailer park or something, but he is like, and he's not trolling at all, okay? And that's what blew my mind about him. He's like, you know, Hitler wasn't that bad. He had great ideas. He was trying to protect his people, you know, not from what the government has taught me, not from what the public education has taught me, from my own education. And then he goes on to say that, like, you know, it's just interesting how... And it's so fucked up how I judge so harshly, because here I am talking about, like, you know, machine elves singing structures into existence on the DMT realm. And then I hear someone who's very Christian religion, and I'm like, what a lunatic, you know? But he's extremely Christian to where he's like, he quotes scripture, and he said that he's like, this is when he got saved by the Lord. He's like, my girlfriend, she got possessed by demons. And he means it like 100%. He's like, and she was screaming at me, cursing me to hell, doing all this stuff, and I rebuked her in the name of Jesus. I said, every evil in this house, get out in the name of Jesus. And she left, and that's when I knew she's possessed. I'm thinking, like, bro, if I heard anyone rebuking something in the name of Jesus, I'm out the door too. You know what I mean? Like, so he's 100% convinced, and he's just like, and that's when I knew the power of Jesus. And he says that he has dreams where he's in hell, and he can't even say the word Jesus because in hell they won't let you say it. And he says these things as if they're fact, you know, and he's like, the earth's flat, it says it in the Bible. He's just like, dude, it is incredible. It's incredible that he, you know, because then he's like, yeah, my sister, because he's doing this podcast with this guy, Jesse. He's this black guy who's like, this black old conservative reverend who is like, racism doesn't exist. Black people are lazy. Fucking, he says racism doesn't exist, and then he's racist towards black people. But he like grew up on a plantation, and he's black, so he's allowed. You know, he's like also a troll, basically like a clickbaity, you know, shock jock. But he believes in the shit he's saying too. So he had Bryce Mitchell on. So Bryce Mitchell joins Jesse. I forget the guy's last name, but he just is like. He's one of these old school Christians who thinks like women shouldn't be allowed to like vote or like lead because the Bible says it. Right. You know, the woman follows the man, and it was just interesting hearing this kid Bryce. He's like probably like 25, and he's just like, yeah, 100% convinced in the in the word of the Lord and the word of Hitler. And it's interesting that
and Hitler.
Yeah, and it's interesting that Kanye went down the same path. He like started doing the Christian gospel music, and then he was like, also Hitler wasn't that bad. And I don't know what the deal is. Did you see his commercials?
I don't know if I did. I kind of like, I went in like trying to watch commercials. I watched a couple. I was like, okay, some of these are pretty good. And then a bunch were like not. And I started like just looking at my
When
phone.
I seen Tom Cruise and Matthew McConaughey, I literally had the thought, are we out of actors? You know what I mean, though? It's just like 15 years ago, I could have seen these same commercials with the same people who also look exactly the same. Shout out to Adrenochrome. Shout out to Baby Blood. But do you know what I mean? It's like, so yeah, some of them were really tired to me. I will say that Kanye's was so interesting. It's basically him recording on his phone, and he's like, yeah, the one commercial is him on his iPhone recording, and the angle's terrible, right? And he's like, yeah, I had $7 million for this commercial. I spent it on these new grills, so I got to record this on an iPhone. Anyways, go to Yeezy.com. Like, and honestly, to me, that's genius marketing.
I feel like I saw that. Didn't he do that last year?
Maybe. I don't recall. But to me, it's just so genius because it's so real.
Yeah.
It's so not produced. People love how raw that is. And he's just saying go to his website. I saw that he spent like $4 to $7 million on the commercial and made $19 million in sales, from people going to the website. So he knows what he's doing. I don't know if those numbers are true, but I just think that there's something to be said about that. It's interesting what podcasts and documentaries have done to the space of overproduction. When I see something that's produced now, it's like it seems so inauthentic to me sometimes, Makes sense, right? But it's just like I'm so used to the raw, candid conversation that, even when I watch a murder doc from Netflix as opposed to YouTube, it's like a lot of fluff, or a lot of like weird reenactments I don't need,
Right.
So I don't know. There's just something clever about that. But I just can't wait to see what he's up to because he's just like back to his ranting,
Fucking Kanye, man. I mean, I do agree he's a genius, but he's also gone so far that it's like, I don't know, guys. That's a weird one.
Did you see him and his girl at the Grammys?
No, but I heard about it. She wore like
nothing, basically a complete see-through dress.
The see-through thing.
Yeah. Which, you know what? If you're that bad, she's bad as fuck. She's like, looks like a figurine. It's a very artful to me statement to say like covering this up would be making it less beautiful. You know what I mean?
I guess.
And I think that's what it's like. Yeah, it's just.
You think that's what she was doing?
I think that's what they were doing. Yeah, I think that honestly, probably just shock jock shit, right, to get the headlines and stuff. But I think there is an element of that. Like, she looks so good. I'm sure it's completely built by doctors. That like, why cover it?
Fair.
Yeah.
I suppose. I suppose that's fair.
Yeah, it's just like it's decoration for him. I don't even know if he talks to her. You know what I mean? It's honestly, like he just.
That's a fair point.
You know what I'm saying? He's just like, you got to be so hot and then just stand here. But yeah, it was nice to see the Chiefs lose.
Yeah, that was the other thing though. Like my thing is like, part of me wanted to see greatness. No one's ever done the three-peat thing. Like Michael Jordan did it twice in basketball, but like football's never been done.
Yeah.
So like. For the Eagles to win, like, cool, good for them.
Good for the Eagles.
Whatever.
I want them to lose just because Najee likes him. But...
I like Philly as a city, but like
they're trash, just like Baltimore.
They're shitty people.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean I don't like the people. I won't like.
Well, they're the same.
Their dumbass accent makes our dumbass accent sound like not so fucking dumb. Honestly, obviously that's subjective. Everyone can have
both
it,
bad.
But like, yeah, they're both very bad. But like, theirs is like, it's weirdly bad. They have done some cool shit out there. Like I don't know, but. End of the day, like we could have all come together in hatred in the same way like when 9/11 happened or like we honestly have not come together as a country since then. I don't think.
Well, that's why they're going to stage the fake alien invasion, right? So then people decide to stick together.
I mean, I could see people doing that because like we're dumb, but like listen, I'm telling you right now, if the aliens come, it's over. Like, they're coming because there's a fucking reason. The reason is, like, we're going to either be good food or like they can't learn from us, right? So like
we don't know.
Well, can you learn from like a fucking idiot like throwing shit at a wall? I mean, yeah, I guess someone could.
Nice
but like,
form.
would it be worth coming like cross dimensions and cross fucking?
Maybe it's simple to do.
I don't know. So at the end of the day, I'm sure something here is valuable in like our land or just in us, like bio whateverly. Fucking, I don't know. Just get our org. I don't know.
Yeah, they could be harvested. Maybe they just want to come down to see the halftime show and shit.
It's never going to be good for us. Or they were God and they're coming back to like see what the fuck.
Well, they are God then, not were.
Could be. Well, I guess
once you're God, I think you're God.
But I meant like as far as like making.
They're our creators.
An alien could have just spit on the ground. That's your primordial ooze, and like I don't know.
Well, they say that alien sperm is one of the things.
Sperm,
alien sperm from an asteroid hit the planet, and.
Long story short, aliens coming is not going to be good for anyone.
No.
Like I know we think it is. Like we're like they're going to give us things. Why?
Yeah, no, I don't imagine they're gonna give us much.
Right.
People think they gave us the pyramids and left. Other people think that they're lizards living among us. Shout out to Biederman. And maybe it's a firmament. I don't know enough about it. I will say that, I haven't been to space, so.
All right, so we got a gift beer from Tibbs again.
Shout out to Tibbs.
Punk Duck.
Appreciate you, dog.
This is bubblegum and cotton candy floss.
Bubblegum and cotton candy floss.
That's the flavor, and it's like it's a slushy light.
I just don't like the word floss in here. I told you before we started, you said it had the word floss in it. And I, when I hear floss, I think dental floss.
At most, like the dance, like where you like do a towel through the legs or some shit.
If they're referencing that, it's somehow more disgusting. I'm somehow more grossed out if they are talking about is that the.
Oh, that's technically this thing.
Yeah, the thing
that Fortnite dance or whatever.
Which, by the way, next episode we're going to learn the most trending dances, and we're going to be doing them on here. So tune in for that. Punk Duck. All right. By Heavy Reel.
Pop it up and take a sip.
But, it's 450 North Brewing Company and Heavy Reel Brewing Company. A little collab action.
Oh, there's an X between.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A little collab.
How the fuck does that work?
Yeah, I don't know. That seems strange too. Just some like
you would think they would both have to brew it at that point, because otherwise, I would rather be the guy that like gets the idea. It's like, hey, other brewing company, here's my idea, make it, because like making it seems like the work. Oh my god, the smell! Did you smell it?
Unfortunately,
I mean,
it smells like caramel. Or something weird, which doesn't taste like it. And you know what, Mike? Before we opened this, before we started, you said this one's not going to be good. You were right.
Well, I had a hint. Tibbs did try, like, had a second one. I don't know if he like gets two, keeps one, and gives us one.
I'll be honest. Fuck you, Tibbs.
Honestly,
that's just gross.
This is the worst one we've had of all of them so far, I would say. Want to try again?
Yeah.
Just
I don't know why, but yeah.
It's like I can't get that flavor. I know it's supposed to be bubblegum. It's trying to be bubblegum.
Oh, God.
But like somehow
it's really kind of upsetting.
There's like medicine.
It's upsetting. Well, the bubblegum medicine you're remembering from being a child. I got a hint of that.
What was bubblegum medicine though?
I don't forget what it was, but it was like cold medicine. It was flavored like bubblegum. The little liquid pink
stuff. Didn't that stuff taste good, though?
Better than this. Ironically, better than this.
Now that you say that, I remember that pink stuff, and then obviously you know of like
that shit was delicious. I used to
Pepto-Bismol, and that's not good.
No, but
like
the kid
stuff.
I used to want to be sick.
Stuff,
yes, I used to want to be sick for that. That was good.
Now that you say it, yeah, I could see like maybe they took like a hint of that, but it was not enough of a hint because it just leaves you.
They're calling this a sour ale.
It leaves you not happy, like. All that pink and punk duck is cool. The idea of the flavors is like fun. But like when it all comes together, I'm just like
yeah, it seems like it was nice on paper, but in reality, not good.
I don't think I can finish that one. If Bubble Tape and Bigley Chew
welcome back.
Fucked.
Sorry, we had to suck each other's dicks on the break.
Had a baby.
If who did?
Big League Chew and Bubble Tape had a baby. Mm-hmm. But then they aborted that baby, grinded it up, and made it into a drink. That's what that shit probably tastes like. Like, it was upsetting.
You know what I don't like is that caramel. What is that caramel coming in from? I taste it in my nose. Does that make sense?
I mean, yeah, to a point.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's not in the mouth, but it's in the nose.
All right. Sorry. Tibbs. God damn it.
Well, hey, you know what?
Thank you for this
everyone
one.
else who didn't give us beer. Fuck you guys worse. So we'd rather have shitty beer than no beer. And that's a fact.
We should drink it for bad. Never mind, it's bad content. Anyway, this one's sorbetto. We've had a sorbetto before. These have been like decent. This says sour ale with cookies and cream, cheesecake, cherry, and blueberry.
It's
too much.
I just feel like it's maybe too sweet when you go cookies and cream when you got that.
That's a good point. I don't typically like. I went back and had a cookies and cream, the Hershey candy that came out. I think went in the 90s when we were kids.
Oh yeah.
Did you like that?
Yes.
It's good, but it's like very, very concentrated flavoring. Like it's not
almost artificially.
Yeah,
you can taste it. It's
artificial. It's very artificial. Yeah. Like one tiny like bit is nice, but you get a whole bar of that shit, and it's just like.
You're not pregnant, are you? It says it could
much
birth defects.
Don't worry about it.
Well, maybe we should have you take a pregnancy test before you.
Birth defects are character.
True. They make you unique. Dude, this is completely random, but I've been getting my shit expunged. Did you see that?
I did see that. Yes, I've done it too.
You have?
I'm a clean, because I was once a felon or whatever, or like nearly a felon, whatever the word. I don't know, because we were caught fucking growing weed at my parents' old house or whatever, and I don't know. Eventually, we got that shit expunged. I forget the rules of all the expunged.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because it's like certain things you can't get expunged. Like my rape cases, they won't take away for whatever reason, you know. But they, I didn't know if they would take felonies away. I know non-violent ones are probably easier than violent ones.
Sure.
I was never convicted of any felonies.
Right. Same. So that probably helps.
Yeah.
Ask though, because I'm under the impression that like once something's expunged. Since it's off your record, like, you can literally deny it ever fucking happened. Like, to a fucking civilian. Sure. And obviously no one in the...
I was about to say, who are they even have to
no one can bring
to?
it up anymore. Yeah. So it's like, that's all it would be.
Well, is it not still on case search?
Not if you expunge it.
Really?
It's gone.
Wow.
This is interesting. Not much of a smell. There's a flavor I'm trying to, like... conjure up, but I can't think of what it is. Like, I'm definitely tasting a tiny cookies and cream, but it's mixing with that cheesecake. I'm tasting a cheesecake. It's almost like a cheesecake beer with a hints of that blueberry.
I'm tasting the cherry and the blueberry for sure. More blueberry. I'm tasting berry a lot.
And I'm definitely getting like a cake, like at the end. Like, you breathe out. Like, I mostly breathe out like this cake sort of. I don't know. It's nice. It's like I could have one of these for a dessert after like a nice meal.
Yeah. Them craft beers are just sweet like that.
Yeah, sorbetto, Camp Hill, PA. Sour ale, it says, established 2016. So I mean, it's not old. Number 84 sorbetto. I don't know. I should have checked to see if these numbers were all different.
What would you give it out of 10? For a craft beer, not for a beer.
That's what I'm...
Because that's so the thing.
Weird,
there's different scales.
Yeah, if I want to get drunk, dude, I can't go to this.
No.
But, I mean, honestly, it's kind of like... I want to give it a 7. I feel like it's a little high. It's probably like a 6 point something. Mm-hmm. 6.7.
6.3.
Like, it's nice. It doesn't have all the flavors I would necessarily want.
I think it's good. I think it's definitely a good beer.
It is. But, like, as far as, like, Paul Mox's beers, like those top two that we had when he was on,
he was showing out,
still reigning supreme.
Yeah, they were different.
And I've been seeing that one. So the one is by Kills, or it's by Dewey Beer. It's called Kills. That was the one that was the 10. It was a seasonal, and they've been coming out with seasonal ones ever since then. There was a Thanksgiving, Christmas, and there's probably going to be like a Valentine's, but I don't know where you get it. And I mean, part of me wants to be like, reach out.
Ask Paul. Yeah, we can ask Paul. Yeah, for sure. But long story long, get your shit expunged. If it's been a while, all you gotta do is file some paperwork, sign it. Let me ask you this: what were you charged with? So hold on, can we go into that a little bit? Because I didn't really know you back then.
I've got 2 things to be expunged, basically.
Well, back up before that.
The very first arrest or the second arrest?
Before all that.
Okay, what are we doing?
All right, so fair question. So you and your dad are growing weed by the time you're arrested. How does that come to fruition? Because most people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so just even not the whole thing, but yeah, how does that? So are you smoking weed? Did your dad start smoking weed? Did you steal your weed from your dad for the first time? Was he always a weed guy? How did that go?
All I can tell you is, like, I've been smoking weed since probably, like, 13, 14, give or take. When I turned 18, my dad was like, he smoked a joint with me or whatever. And so we sort of, like...
So did you know he smoked?
I had an idea, but no, I didn't know for sure. I knew he was a drinker. As far as I ever knew he was a drinker. And this will be my second arrest. So, like, he would have known.
You can be both, too. A drinker and a smoker. Like how Drake likes women and children. You can be. Fair, allegedly.
Yeah, I don't know. I always just assume I'm one thing, and I also do the other things. I'm a smoker, but I also will drink. So, like, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm gay, but I'll fuck women.
Boom, I
get it.
So, I don't know. Turn 18, we smoke a joint together, whatever the fuck.
How was that? Did that feel probably cool?
I think I liked it in the moment.
I would think so.
Yeah, like, it was cool.
It's almost like becoming a man, right? Your dad's like, you know what? It's acceptance in a way of, like, you're an adult now.
Yeah. I hadn't earned it. Like, looking back on it, I'm like, dude, like...
No, it's literally just your age.
If you were really being a dad, like, nah, I know how immature I was for a long time, and I still am. And this is just like, I don't know, man. You're telling your kid too much by, like, smoking weed with him at that age if he's not fucking on his way to adulthood, which I feel like I really fucking wasn't. I had just gotten arrested, too, that year. Around March, it was my... graduating year, 06, was selling weed, and me and a bunch of people went to this graffiti spot over in Glen Burnie, and basically these cops had been, like, just doing this fucking surveillance on this area just to try to get these particular taggers or whatever the fuck. And anyway, we show up for a random thing because Wayne, my childhood best friend, lived in that area, and it's called The Hole. It's basically 2 tunnels.
We might have to bleep this out. Wayne Black?
No. Wayne Garrity. And he's dead, so we don't have to blame.
How'd he die?
Jesus Christ. So because we are not super great people, we don't take care of ourselves. And so he got into this bar fight, got his jaw wired shut, and instead of, like, doing all the things you need to do to keep your wound clean, not smoke and all that, apparently he didn't do all of that, and he ended up having a heart attack at the age of 34.
Because of the bar fight?
Because, I mean, ultimately, from a bar fight, wired jaw,
not taking care of
your shit,
whoa,
heart attack. So,
what
like,
the fuck? That shit doesn't seem like it adds up. It sounds like a Mad Lib.
I mean, listen, I guess I never checked the
autopsy,
autopsy,
didn't do the
but,
autopsy
like, that's
yourself.
what the fuck, you know, that was the,
yeah.
And it's such a weird story. It feels like the truth, because, like,
yeah, it would be
the
bizarre.
last thing I want to die from is neglect, you know? Like, that feels like... That's not
avoidable.
True. I mean, it's true, but, like, it's probably not the worst thing you could die. Anyway.
Definitely not.
Anyway, so I got in trouble for, we were down there, we found a bunch of, like, half-filled cans, and that's what you did. Like, people would be down there. Yeah, sorry. Paint. And we found all the spray, like, some of them had caps, some of them didn't. You
Different
found some,
nozzles
or you bring some, whatever. Like, my buddy was into the spray painting. We weren't, but, like, it was...
Shout out Dana Lorden.
Anyone who has any inkling to spray on a wall, like, it's fun. Yeah. There's nothing not fun about it.
Yeah.
Like, so long story short, I'm, like, spraying my first whatever the fuck.
Fuck the pull.
Dude, it probably was, I think it was F or something, and, like, as soon as I just hit the fucking first nozzle, freeze, like, put it, like, drop everything, blah, blah, blah. These people, like, come down on us with guns drawn. We're, like, 3 18-year-old kids. It's me, Eric Owings. And honestly, I'm not 100%. I think it was Mario.
Right.
So I brought those 2 to a place that Wayne had been bringing me. We didn't even have a tagger with us. And the funniest thing is, like, I've got these pants on that are, like, just covered in paint. Because I was doing paint work, for one. And
so you look like
the
guy
look like
they're
a tagger.
Looking for.
Yeah, dude. Like, I look like the epitome. It's insane. Like, and it was just all these little things that kind of built up to this. Anyway, so what
would you get arrested for? Vandalism?
I got arrested for being fucking ignorant and stupid. Like, basically what happened was...
I'm about to go call a lawyer.
Basically, I start my spray. They come down, freeze, blah, blah, they do the whole thing. So at that moment, we're detained, right? So like I'm just under the impression like these cops can just search my car.
They can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
When you're young, bro, and this is the authority.
I'm not a fucking
100%.
criminal
No,
at this point.
I'm not a First Amendment auditor.
My dad hadn't taught me anything. Like anyway, so they search my car. There's a scale in there. There's some weed in there. Literally, the entire thing could be avoided if I was just like, you can't search my car.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
You gave permission to search.
Gave him permission.
Because you don't feel like it's an option.
I didn't feel like it was an option.
That's the thing. When they go, hey, can we search your car? You're like, yeah, whatever, you know.
Right.
You don't think that you can tell a cop no.
Right. So.
Turns out. Shout out to the Constitution, baby.
Scale, probably like less than a half ounce. So that's a charge.
Were you charged with possession or intent to distribute?
Yeah,
you got intent
to distribute because of the scale. Yeah, because I'm sure I had baggies and stuff in there potentially, but like I'm pretty sure all the weed was in one.
And this is back when you were selling like swag.
Basically, or middies at the best.
Yeah, I just love the even. So like kids these days don't even know those terms. It's like, God, yeah. Well, it's an old trope, but the weed was so bad.
There were seeds in it. They're probably like, what? What do you mean?
Like a lot of seeds.
Like a lot of seeds.
Seeds and stems were like half the bag. It was disgusting.
So anyway,
I knew a kid real quick. I knew a kid who used to put BBs into his weed to make it way more.
I tried it once.
Dirtball.
Hey, dude. Only
fucking dirtball.
Only to another dirtball though. Like I wouldn't do that to every single person, but like someone who
deserved BBs.
Yeah, dude. Like they were and they were out there.
They were trying to heavy up their buds.
Or like they would take like fucking forever to meet you when they were selling you weed and shit. Whatever. I don't know. Like I take
judgment-free zone.
I keep tabs. Anyway. So I get arrested, go through the whole process. Literally, it's I guess, I don't remember if that was a felony or not, but I think it technically was for selling weed.
I don't think
intent to distribute.
I don't think intent is. It
might not be. I don't know. Whatever. So anyway, I got the misdemeanor. Whatever. It wasn't a big deal. I had to do the classes or whatever. And my classes were weird because like, don't you normally have to do like, I don't know, like set like weeks of classes or some shit?
Yeah, it depends on the program. Sometimes it's like you just, all the programs are set up differently.
Mine was a weekend diversion program.
Oh, a weekend?
Yeah, so it was
because
just like
it was
3
a diversion,
days.
it was a one thing. Yeah, it was one acute thing rather than like a consecutive thing.
Didn't really feel like I got punished in that instance because like we went to Colombia like that. It was 3 days, so like that was the punishment.
You had to stay there?
No, it was like three
full days.
Like, but not even full days. Like I think it was like 2 mainly full days, and Sunday was like a half, or maybe Friday was. I don't know, whatever.
And you were supposed to just hate weed after that.
And it was literally just like people that were just like at a party that got caught, like kids that were just dumb shit. None of these people needed to be in a drug class. Like maybe one of them.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. I'm just guessing. And they're all from Howard County. I don't know. It's just a weird thing. So slap on the wrist, get that expunged, whatever. Fast forward.
Did you get it expunged right away?
No, I think I let that linger a little while.
So you have that charge, but how'd your parents feel about that charge? Do they know you're selling weed?
Well, at that point they do now.
Right.
Yeah. Because like I'd never gotten caught. Just like I never got caught masturbating. I never got caught like selling weed like in the act. Like they would find like a pipe. They'd be like, okay, well, clearly whatever, but like it would never be
or something you contributed but never caught you in the act.
We need to start doing contribute. Norman,
which by the way, I did look it up. A contribute is when you are coming onto a picture.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know.
So we were right.
I mean, that feels like anyway.
It feels like an honor.
I like it for other things, dude. Like if you just, you should throw fruit at people that like did poorly on stage, dude. I don't know. Maybe you get.
Where
mad.
did they get the tomatoes from?
I don't know.
I forgot about that old thing, like throwing tomatoes. Where are all the tomatoes from?
But we could throw a tomato at a people, well, that way it's not political, and then whatever. Anyway, who gives a shit?
So you get charged with selling weed. You're not selling weed with your dad at the time.
No. This is just solo dolo bullshit. Fucking, and it's just not even that much weed.
Selling to a couple of your buddies, something low key.
The whole thing is me letting them have permission to search my car when I just. If we had the internet, like the kids have the internet today, it's what's like crazy.
If you had the internet, you'd have been screaming at that cop, talking about name and badge number. You work for me, you public servant.
Dude.
Yeah.
How the tables would have turned.
Yeah.
But anyway, so fast forward a couple years. Now I'm 20. I don't know who got the idea, but
yeah, that's what I'm curious about. Now hold on. So are you continuously smoking with your dad after that first joint?
Probably here and there or whatever.
Right.
Like, as much as 2 people would. Because it wasn't like I was buying weed. We were both buying weed from our separate people or whatever. So like the coming together would have happened like randomly, I would imagine. But yeah, I don't know. I think he credits me for like, but I don't know how I would even brought it up to him. But yeah, I don't know. One of us was just like, "Hey man, we both smoke weed. Should we just grow it?" And so then
just literally you being cheap.
Kinda. It turns out it's very expensive. Very expensive.
What is?
Growing weed. Like all the equipment, all the things you would need. And then back then, like getting seeds wasn't the easiest thing. We did source them online and like took a chance.
Did they send them in a sock or something?
No.
I used to buy seeds when I was growing weed from a company that would send them in something.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No.
You get to pick your item, you know?
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, it would just be like a manila padded whatever. And each one would be branded differently. Like you could easily have like a how would I put it? It'd be like the size of a pack of like joints, but then it would be a case sort of on the bottom with like a paper lid. You'd open the paper lid and each of the seeds would be underneath like a little piece of like plastic, kind of like candy in a way.
Like an advent calendar?
Like an advent calendar in a way. And like they would have different like versions of it. And like you would, so one would be a coffin, one would be whatever. Like that's what I do remember distinctly getting our shit in.
And you grew in soil?
To start, he got hydroponics early. We would have soil to have mothers, and then we'd have the mothers just sort of hang out when we were ready.
Clone them and shit.
And yeah, the way to do it is to have 3 stages going on at one time. You'd have your seedlings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's like the seedlings and cloning.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Vegetative and flowering,
and then the budding at the end,
and and basically,
and then you want them in 3 different stages so you can keep them going.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So you could get like 3+ harvests a year.
And the idea is basically if you just start it from 1, you have to wait for the entire process to go from 1 to 2 to 3. But if you have them in all 3 stages, as you're moving one along, the other one's moving along. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So around that time, I guess he had already stopped doing real estate because the 2008 fucking crash had happened. I think it was right around that time, actually. And that was probably part of the reason because I guess he wasn't selling houses anymore. And he had the office that was behind.
Can't sell houses, sell weed.
It was behind. It was a detached office from the house. So it was basically completely on its own. And literally the only thing that would give it away that it was growing weed was either the power consumption or...
That worries people.
Every time it would snow, no snow would land on that roof.
Too warm.
Not a single fucking bead of snow up there. So that was always weird.
Yeah, but no one's looking.
Well, we lived next door to some retired cops, and they never really gave us any issues. I know in the very, very beginning, before we had our ventilation like figured out, the first flowering stage was like crazy. You could smell it from like the street, and we're set back from the street like, I don't know, half a football field. Like it's a fair amount back.
Yeah.
So like... It was a lot of learning and like a lot of luck of not getting caught in the very, very beginning. Cause yeah, I mean, we were just doing everything wrong. I mean, you like we did with this room.
With everything.
We read everything you could read, and it's like, it doesn't prepare you. Yeah, you have to fuck up yourself.
You gotta start doing it.
So,
are you growing swag or middies or
no, dude, we were growing good stuff.
Good weed. If you're growing it yourself, usually it is. I feel like the only way to get swag was to get it off of a brick,
Mexican brick.
Yeah, flat, a quarter pound that was broken off of a giant brick. Yeah.
And when you got the side that was on the wall, it just looked so weird because it would just be so flat.
Yeah.
And it would just be like, wherever it broke off from, like, I don't know,
shards of weed,
like a glacier.
Shards of weed. I remember getting back when I used to do, be into the game. You get cocaine sometimes that would be like a corner of a package, and that's how you knew it was like wasn't stepped on, right? Because it had been packaged that way. And sometimes you'd even get like a piece of a stamp because they like wanted to make it brand it. You got to have a brand to
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, like ecstasy. I mean, they all have brands.
Yeah, and heroin too. Heroin is people don't know this in Baltimore, so not everywhere. So a lot of places sell heroin as raw heroin. They call it raw, or they sell them in balloons or bundles. In Baltimore specifically, they sell scramble, which is like heroin mixed with this other stuff that's shootable. It's not really even other drugs. Sometimes it is. They'll mix morphine. Now they mix fentanyl. But basically, yeah, they all have different brand names, and it's all about like, how bad it'll fuck you up. I remember like back when, so I was doing heroin so long ago. It was like when the world was going to end in 2012 because of the Mayans. They had this dope called 2012, 2012,
nice.
2012,
nice.
Tyson, so it'll knock you out, Smackdown, Kill Bill. They just had, the names were so intriguing, but the branding's impressive,
It brings up, so I read recently that after Breaking Bad happened, I assume you went through that one?
Yeah.
So they did blue meth. Apparently, like, a lot of dealers had to, like, do the blue meth,
so
apparently.
Much sense. It makes so much sense.
Isn't that fucking funny, though?
Yeah, why wouldn't you, right? If I was a meth dealer and Heisenberg came out with the blue meth, I'd be like, yeah, I got the blue meth. It's so good for branding.
I mean, it is, but it's also just like, I don't know, dude. It's just weird. Like, I don't know.
Selling crystal methamphetamine is weird,
You would
Mike.
think once you're into the meth, it was just like, do you really want the blue stuff? Like, you're doing meth, dog. Like,
yeah, but junkies, man, they want the good shit.
Yeah, I saw what they had on. I want that Heisenberg shit. Crazy, dude.
So you start growing, and it's trial and error. It's stinky.
So we did start in our house. There was like this basement bathroom that we had, like this like old jacuzzi tub no one ever used. So we cut that shit out and basically used that room, and we could only do one thing at a time. We weren't able to break it up. But eventually, like I said, his real estate fell apart. We had that office, and he was just like, fuck it. And he went all in. I don't know how much he spent, and I don't know if he ever made it back.
Right.
But it was awesome. We had, like, the one room was fully flowering, complete hydroponic system. Like, he made himself. He got, like, all, like, you remember, not remember, they have, like, white PVC fences, and all the posts are big square PVC posts. So basically, we just get a bunch of those fucking posts, a hole saw, figured out the basket size or whatever, and it's literally just, then you got to take another bunch of pipe that runs down it, that's got a bunch of holes in it so that it can spray all the, like, it was like a lot of work.
Yeah.
That, like, but once it was done, it was cool because it was just set. And you just sort of maintained it.
From time to time. Yeah.
Switch out the water every other grow or whatever, so that you're, and keep shit clean. If there was like a rot or some kind of bug infestation,
did you guys trim the buds yourselves?
Oh yeah, that was my job. So like basically, he was the mad scientist. I mean, basically,
dude, that sucks.
At a certain point,
as
like,
someone who grew a decent amount of weed, not a decent amount. I grew a small amount of weed, and it was basically my buddy growing it. I can just know I was his partner in that I came and helped. So I'm not going to claim that I'm not stealing Grow Valor.
Same here, dude.
I'm not stealing Grow Valor. I know how people who haven't actually grown weed and trimmed it don't understand. The trimming is so much work.
Yeah.
Like, you don't just get the bud off the thing, cut it, hang it upside down, it's done. You have to, like, manicure each bud to where your hands have carpal tunnel. The scissors won't unclog because they're so sticky. You don't matter how much alcohol you use. It's just one of those funny little things that you can tell if someone really had to deal with a decent amount of plants, because it's like you had to. If you've never debated buying one of those popcorn bud machines that spins your shit and, like, auto trims it, yeah, it's a motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, after a while, you get used to it. You got to get the spring-loaded fiskers.
Oh, yes, the fiskers. That's where I even learned the word fiskers.
Yeah, dude. You can't do any kind of, like, nothing with a handle that wraps.
Snips and scissors is like a fisker.
Just has to have, like, I don't know.
So how long did you guys do that for?
5 years. So about 25, we got arrested.
How'd that come down the pipe?
I need to go back through the paperwork, but the way it was described to me, obviously they were looking at us and they were collecting our trash, and we definitely, I got
fun
lazy
fact,
with the
if
trash.
you put your trash out to the street, it is now public trash. Just a little fun fact, in Maryland and Anne Arundel County, I can't speak for everywhere, but if you take your trash and place it out to the street, it is now public domain where you do not need a search warrant to go through it. Just fun fact. So throw your drug trash in your neighbor's can is what I'm saying.
And we would have, like, a lot of clippings.
Sure.
And so all those clippings would either go into, he would, like, boil them for, like, an entire day or 12 hours so we could make edibles. We had a compost mulch pile thing in the back that we would use from time to time, but he didn't love that. And then, honestly, he would bag that shit up, take that shit to the dump. Because, like,
the
I
dump's
don't know,
better
they're
than
not
your
looking
house,
through your car. They're just like, what do you got?
Dump,
I'm like, oh, just brush.
Yep.
And so
that's my point. If you have trimmings, which I know, I'm not suggesting it, but if you have something, don't throw it in your trash.
Yeah,
take it to the dump. Take it to a local dumpster.
a lot of like.
Yeah, there's no you can't not have any byproduct from growing a decent amount of weed.
So yeah, I guess they were looking through our trash. End of the day, the story I was told was my older brother has 2 sons, and one of those sons, when he was like it was 18, he was like a little fuckhead. Since then, he's gone to the military and is straightening his shit out. But like he was a little piece of shit apparently, and he was walking down some neighborhood with a buddy or a couple buddies. They were just vandalizing cars, just like as they went. As 18-year-olds, I could see that like a 13, 14, like whatever. I'm judging. End of the day, the story I'm told is like he got arrested for doing that. Somehow, and this is the part that's like not like nailed down. It's just hearsay, and it's like somehow they were able to go from
they flipped him from vandalism for a bigger fish?
Yeah, dog. And it's just like, dude, none of it makes sense.
Dude, that is so
crazy. The only thing that makes sense to me.
That's such a wild jump, Mike. That's like, take your vandalism charge. That's like, well, they almost had me for jaywalking, so I had to give up Fidel Castro. I had to give up fucking.
Yeah. Or did his dad
Pablo
get
Escobar.
pulled into it, and his dad was the one?
Because unless it's what's interesting? I have been in trouble with drugs and stuff like that, and sometimes the people I got the drugs from were maybe nervous, and it's like I was never even asked once by the police in all of my endeavors ever, where'd you get this?
Really?
Or can you tell us something? Never. I was trying to tell. No, but really, they never asked me. It's like this one time, and you know what's fucked up? And this one time I was actually a pawn in their game. So if they're trying to get a search warrant for someone's house and they're watching it, they need certain amount of things to get that search warrant, okay? For me, they had a confidential informant. They pulled someone over leaving my house, and they went through my trash. Those are the 3 for me. Unbeknownst to me, I went to my buddy's house. I left my buddy's house. As I'm leaving, I'm smoking a blunt. I get pulled over by the cops. They see I have weed on me. Weed's already legal at this point. This is like this is like, a few years ago maybe. I'm like, yeah, I have some weed on me. Because it was over the amount that they allow, which again, how arbitrary are we talking, right? So they go, oh, well, this is over 14 grams or 10 grams or whatever the amount was allowed at that time. They go, because it's over that, we got to take you in, you'll get bonded right out, whatever. Well, unbeknownst to me, that was a pawn in their game to raid his house. So they were going, oh, he must have gotten these illegal drugs from this person because we're already suspecting this person of selling. So they used me as a pawn to get in his house. And then he's calling me on some like, would you tell the police? I'm like, bro, you got me fucked up. You got me all the way fucked up. And it was kind of the same vibe. Like, you think I'm not going to take a possession of marijuana charge? Like, if I'm going to snitch, it's going to be for something better. You know what I mean? I'm going to save my get out of jail free card until I'm facing life. Like, a possession charge, I was offended that my friend thought that I snitched on him. I mean, honestly, he was paranoid. He didn't know who did what. But it's like, I'm like, bro, it's a weed charge.
Was this when you sold him weed, or were you selling the mushrooms at this point?
I wasn't selling nothing. I was a pawn in there to raid him. This is what I'm saying. Yeah, this is separate than my shit. I was a pawn to raid this guy, and he thought I had something to do with it because they used me as a pawn. So it's just funny how they do that. Bastards.
Those motherfuckers.
So your nephew rolled on you.
Yeah, that's the story. We don't know how it got to that point. Like, did his dad come in and be like, because like I was 18 when I was arrested, right? And like I didn't know shit. Like he should have known more than me because of the internet or whatever. But at the end of the day, I don't know. He's kind of, who knows? But like it just doesn't make sense. Like none of it makes any sense.
So then what? They got a search warrant
for us, basically. So like I guess come April or whatever that year that I hadn't graduated yet, but I was about to graduate. So 06 April, I'm working on Kevin's house because his mom had died and he's trying to sell his house to can't afford it anymore. So he's just we're working on it. So I leave to go back home one day and like I notice all these cops in front of our house, undercover ones. So I just drove on by. I was
fucking right, you did.
Yeah, I did. Well,
just going on our neighborhood stroll.
Yep. So they saw that.
Yeah. They happened to know what you were driving.
I came back because I was just like,
There ain't no.
Fuck am I gonna do?
Go to Mexico or have to fucking take this on the chin?
Right. Yeah. So went back home.
Create a new identity from right this second, or just take my charge.
They were like, by the way, we saw you go by. Yeah. Like, okay, I don't know why you had to tell me that or whatever. So then they take me in.
And your dad?
Yes. So I guess they had already been there for a while before I got there.
Gotcha. So your dad was already in cuffs.
Yes, I think he was either still there or he had been taken. Already, yeah. But my mom, my brother, and his girlfriend, wife now, were I believe all in handcuffs, hanging out in like the main floor, which was not great because none of them are criminals in any way.
I hate that too when they're not involved and they have to like. It's like, come on.
Yeah, and I mean they knew. It's just like it's just
part of the protocol,
yeah, part of the whole thing. And what happens next? So I'm gonna skip ahead real quick just because like. I'll forget. I did get back into my room later. Find that, and I've said this on here once before. It was like a tornado, except for like this one spot in the middle of the floor that they had like hollowed out and put my bong there. I don't know why it was like that. And then they had "Police was here" written on the inside of our grow room.
Really?
Police was here.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. In a black marker, just like written on the wall. Police was here.
That's interesting.
Took the
I'm
picture,
honestly not super mad at that. That's pretty funny. I mean, I'm just saying, if you're like that, that's pretty funny. If I'm a cop, I might have to hit a "police was here."
Hey man, whatever. It's fine. I'm not too mad at that. I was just mad at how it all unfolded.
Yeah.
And like
you just bailed right out and then got a slap on the wrist.
I stayed there for a good 8 hours. I don't remember why, but yeah, I had to wait to see
Did you join a gang while you're in there?
No.
I went in for 8 hours, came out with a shaved head and a swastika tattoo.
In there long enough to like take a nap and eat the food, right? So
delicious food.
Everything tastes the same.
Yeah.
And that's the weirdest thing to say.
From the juice to the sandwich.
From to the bread. Like to the and it's
sweaty
weird.
meat sandwiches they call them.
It's all been sitting in a room that it shouldn't be sitting in. I don't know.
Together
somehow. Yeah. But like how everything can taste have the same
it's like homogenized somehow.
I don't mean it all tastes the same, like it all has the same flavor. It all had its own flavor, but it all had the same
I know exactly
taste
what
going
you mean.
through it. Yeah.
Sadness is what you're tasting, Mike. Mike, you're tasting the absolute absence of any joy.
I don't remember my roommate. It was only a couple minutes that I really
they call it a cellmate.
Yeah, roommate cellmate. Yeah, that's a good point. That's how little.
I don't remember my housemate at the time.
Right. The mat. I know the mat was like super small. It was weird because like I had to go through this thing. I had to get a mat. They put me in the thing, the prison clothes or whatever. They took my clothes. And then, like 6, 7, 8 hours later, like I'm giving it all back and just getting it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Do we need all of this? It feels like a little extra for, so anyway, that was the end of it. By the way, Kevin, I called Kevin to pick me up because he's the only person I knew. And his girlfriend, he like tells his girlfriend, we got to go pick up Mike. And he's like, we got to go look at houses. They were about to go look at houses or some shit. And she was trying to tell him to not come pick me up. So that you go like,
why didn't you call your parents?
They're not together anymore. I didn't know their cell phone numbers at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. His number literally was 3 numbers. It was 443-848-8443. Literally. It's not his number anymore, unfortunately, but it was the best number of all time.
That's Gorilla?
Like, yeah, it was Gorilla.
Yeah. I kind of remember that number almost.
Hell yeah, dude. Like, that was, until he moved from Verizon, they wouldn't let him, like, take it with him.
You remember your house number growing up?
Yeah.
I do too. Isn't that interesting? It's just like burned into our brains.
360-2342.
I was a 437-6379.
437. 437 feels cool.
Thank
you. I feel like 360 feels like old.
You know what? Thank you.
Yeah, dude,
some recognition.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. 437. 360. 360 feels like a business.
I didn't mind 360. 255s, 437,
255 was a good one. That was a good one.
They were out here.
I didn't have a 255.
They were out here.
443, 255, whatever. How fast you think you are? Top speed. If I was like with a fucking radar gun, I gave you, I don't know, you had the whole fucking 60-yard dash, 40-yard dash.
Here's the problem.
What do you think your top speed would be?
Because I'm so far removed from the athletic world, the sports world, I don't even know it's not relative to me.
Sure.
Right? So I'm just saying it's like, you have to understand the level of stupidity you're dealing with when you ask the question, because my brain's going like, cheetahs are like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know so little that I'm like, all right. And actually, you helped me because you told me earlier today that treadmills go about 12. So I'm just saying, even that helped me because prior to hearing that, Mike, it literally, I'm
not
like,
something you're ever thinking about.
I just have no idea what a top speed would be. So,
and I only bring it up because the combine's coming. We were talking about football.
The NFL combine.
They're gonna be fucking measuring these kids in every form.
I feel like, you know how fast Usain Bolt goes?
Yes.
Okay. If most treadmills top out at 12, I know I can do most treadmills that topped out. So I want to say 17 miles an hour.
Interesting.
Based only on the treadmill and being able to barely keep that up.
Dude, that's totally fair. Like, I've got no frame of reference.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen those?
I don't know if people are running in their 40s or none of that.
There's like a type of treadmill that like you power.
I've
forget
heard
what it's
of
called. Air something.
I've heard of it.
And like it's literally just like a concave track that you run and it tells you how fast you're going. I've been on one of those and I got up to 12 miles an hour. 12 something was my max. Okay. That was on that. And I don't know if that's like limiting, but like when I was looking it up online, Usain Bolt's top speed's like 27 plus, like 28 sounds like the topping out for a human being running. The average, and the problem is like I'm looking things up and everything just says AI says this, AI says that. And like AI is telling me people should be able to run at like 17 to 19 miles an hour.
Really?
Like on average, like an average person.
No.
I know. I can't be.
Not average American.
It can't be.
Let's be honest. The average American can't run. Like, if we're talking, I mean, look, it's been a while since I've ran.
Right.
The average American is disgusting. I'm just saying. I mean, really, like when I walk into a place, if there's 400 people, I want to fuck so few of them, you know? There's just so few people who are like in shape.
That's so funny.
And I think about average, dude, 7, that's what it said?
Yeah, dude. I like.
So what do you think your top speed is?
So like, my problem was I have that stupid reference of that like that. I don't know what you want to call it. The hamster wheel, I'm just going to call it. And I only got it up to 12 something. That was just, but like that's not running on the ground. I guess you would be able to technically get faster like on the ground. There would be you wouldn't be thinking, or I want to say 15 or 16 feels like achievable.
Well, then I was super close with my guess, like, but I also know that if I attempted to run full speed, I would be injured for weeks.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
It happens. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like
absolutely.
if I full bore ran as if like my life depended on it, or we were doing a podcast bit, either one, I would rip something, tear something, rupture something, and be fucked up. You know, people don't all out sprint like that. You know what I mean?
No, not usually. And like, yeah, you definitely want to be warmed up and ready for it if we're gonna do it. By the way, does anyone have a mile per hour gun? Like, do any of you baseball
anyone have a speedometer? We're ready to do some shit.
Don't baseball people use them?
Yeah.
One of you motherfuckers is in baseball. Like, give us your gun.
There's 15 of you out there listening. Out of the 15 of you, someone has to know someone with a speedometer. So if we could get a breathalyzer and a speedometer over here, we're gonna see how drunk and fast we can be consecutively.
The other ones that are kind of cool, which we'll never get, like a vertical. Vertical's like, yeah, you gotta work for that. I don't want to. And then the other ones are dumb.
Well,
like,
you don't have to work. You don't have to work to get a bad one.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
We can just see what our
that's what I was about to say. We should definitely see what our ups are. See what our bunnies are.
So yeah, I mean that one's fun.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
40-yard dash maybe if we can figure out the 40. We do that with the gun at the same time. Hopefully, just
we should. Okay, I would be down to do both.
They do the bench press. But I don't know if I could bench press 225, period.
Oh, I can't.
I think it's a 45 on each side.
I can't do it. Oh, no, it's more than that. It's 2 on each side, I think.
2 on each side. You're right. I think that's exactly what it is. Definitely can't do that.
I don't think so either.
I know.
I don't really bench.
All right, so that maybe we'll save that one. Save that one for down the line.
What we could do is just do one plate on each and see how many you can do.
There's this fun
analyst.
I mean? Absolutely. Oh yeah. I'd
make it where it's like, let's just see what we can do.
I'm sure there's another one that we can figure out, but there's this analyst, Rich Eisen? I forget what his name is. Whatever. I think that's what it is. He does the 40 every year during the whole thing, just because like it's just for fun, as a funny
right.
And then we get to see like all the like players that he's faster than, which it's not many.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of big guys that will run a slow fucking 40.
So then he can be like, I'm faster than an NFL player.
He doesn't, but he could. He could. Maybe a homie does.
Yeah. Like just so you know, I'm faster than a couple of NFL players.
Funny.
Yeah.
That'd be so fucking funny.
It's just like a 470-pound guy.
Yeah, exactly. The biggest guy ever.
Yeah.
Anything else you got?
I do want to say that, like, I think that you would be faster than me. I think that you have a competitiveness in you that I find intriguing because you don't tout it. It's not like this. You would say you're competitive, right?
I want to win.
Okay, I was just making sure we agree on that because we never really talked about it.
But we won a beer pong. Did we talk about that? Beer pong?
Oh, no, we didn't. It was
bear pong. Whatever the fuck.
Pong.
Trash can fucking pong, dog.
Pong.
Who never lost a game?
We're pretty much the best in the world. I do want to say one last thing about that trip that we didn't talk about last time. And I do mean this because I didn't realize it until I was talking to someone else. I think my favorite part of the trip, though it was short-lived, was playing the Super Nintendo you brought.
Really?
Yeah. Like when we were playing the NBA, it's this downtime where there's no pressure for anything big to be happening. It's all the boys.
Dude, that was cool. All the boys.
It's all the boys.
I did not expect y'all to play it for as long as it got played.
That's what I mean. It was just one of those things that like organically happened. You know what I mean? It's way more fun than like something that you had planned. And it's like in between. You know, we're in between places, so we're just chilling at the Airbnb. But once you get started, then you get into it, and it's like, this means nothing. There's 2 buttons you can use, but you get into it, you know? It's like, dude, that was so much fun.
And you won.
Well, that's why I think I was fun.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you won one. Saybuck, I think, never
played. I took it up in overtime. Remember? That was exciting.
That's right. I think Chris G said NBA Jam.
NBA Jam.
Yeah. And I took a picture of that one player who basically, like, I don't know how they drew him, but they drew his, like, brow as a straight line. So he just looked like a caveman.
That's just rude, bro.
It's amazing.
That's just rude.
I might have to, like, put it on,
Yeah, pop it up right here. Superimpose it. Superimpose him sucking my dick with the unibrow. But yeah, thanks for bringing that. That was fun. It was funny because we had, like, 3 switches there. You know, the Airbnb came with multiple switches, and we opted for the Super Nintendo and had way more of a blast. You know, it's just one of those things that I guess we're just old. You know,
I wish it had 4 players, but like it was still fun with the 2.
Well, there's something cool about the fact that because it was very nostalgic. Like you gotta wait for your turn on the sticks. Right, you know, it's like whoever gets the W, you get to play.
On the sticks, there was no stick.
You know what I mean?
It was just buttons on a thing.
Damn, dude, the sticks must be a newer thing. That's true.
Yeah. I mean, there were joysticks in the 90s on computer. But
Atari
I don't think we got
one
until yeah, okay. Yeah. And then we didn't get PlayStation. I mean, I didn't get that until like 2000, but I know it came out in like 95 or something. Fuck, that's funny on the sticks.
But yeah, great time with the Super Nintendo.
Hell yeah.
Hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for being the brains, face, and heart of this operation. Thank you, 302 subscribers. If we could just double that by the end of the month, we would appreciate it. If not, Mike has said that he personally vows to go into a puppy mill and kill everything living. I'm not saying I'm with it or against it. He said he's going to do it. Hey, you guys do whatever you want.
And puppy mills.
Hey, one way or another, we're going to get rid of them. Do it for Sheila. Thanks for being here. We'll be here every week talking about nothing. Like, subscribe. If you got a comment, just go ahead and comment. Even if it's you say hi. You don't even have to say anything meaningful, you know? We don't. So join the club, say hi, do it for Sheila. If you're listening, Mom, don't. If this doesn't work,